Good afternoon and greetings all from the second age of reason. Today's topic is the topic of refugees. We'll start with Syrian refugees because they're the biggest ones in the news currently. And people are saying, oh my, we have to do something about these Syrian refugees. And what are we going to do about it? So some of them are taking boats across the Mediterranean and coming to Europe. And in Europe, they're migrating north towards Germany. Germany has extended open arms saying, come on, refugees, you can hang out here for a while. Hopefully just a while. But I'm going to also point out that there may be more refugees than that. Part of that problem is that Syria, the American president has said, Assad must go. The Syrian president must go. We don't think he's legitimate anymore. Well, the legitimacy of a president, of an elected official, is handled by elections. But I think there's more than elections going on there because our president and certain government officials said the same thing. Have said, Assad must go. But our government officials are not Syrian citizens, and I don't see that they have a vote or a say in the matter. They kind of want to believe they do because they feel that they've been self-appointed as policemen of the world, and perhaps even more than that. So then there is instability and problems in Syria. And the causes and the root causes of it, we're not quite sure about, but there is some debate about that. So the Syrians are trying to get on boats and come to Europe. Some of them tried going to other Arab countries and they were not allowed. Because they said, well, Syrians are not the same kind of Arabs as us, so we don't want them here. Alright. And there's other nations that have refugee problems, such as Iraq and Afghanistan and Somalia and Yemen and Bahrain and Libya. I mean, countries that seem to have had unfortunate episodes with America and NATO. So some of these refugees get on boats and say, we're Syrians. They throw their passports overboard and say, we're Syrians. And they come to Europe. And some countries in Europe are saying, we'll take these refugees. Certain nations simply won't take them. Europe, as a union, has said we're going to take some. America is trying not to take any. Israel won't take any either. So it's an interesting situation. These refugees from all these different countries converging on Europe, flooding Europe, probably in the millions. So the other thing is, why should Europe welcome them in? Well, Europe and its NATO and America help have kind of created the problem. So they feel like, well, we'll take them in. But there's a twofold purpose to that. You think refugees are just coming in, and what happens is the war blows over and they go back home. Will they go back home? That's the question. I think some of them believe they won't go back home. And what that does is it leaves the land less people and more open to be taken over for other purposes, like resource exploitation. Or to have a public government put in that can become indebted to the banking system that rules the world. So that could also be in the making. The other thing is, I'm sure there's forces in Europe that don't like socialism, and they're tired of the people getting benefits from the government. The people pay taxes to the government of all the possible places to get benefits. I would say that people are the most appropriate ones to get benefits. Throw in 10 million, 30 million foreigners, and they need everything because they've come from their destroyed country with nothing. That's going to put a big load on your socialist system. So I think they're going to use the overload of the socialist system from refugees to probably eradicate socialism in its current form. So that's another part of a maybe multi-purpose approach to it. Also, there's refugees in the Americas. They were coming over the border in droves. But I think the United States of America and the United States of Mexico got together and they said, listen, we can't have all these refugees coming over the border to us. Even though the Americas have been instrumental in creating problems in the Central American and South American countries that these people feel they have to flee from. So, even though the flow has been reduced, I don't think the problem has been removed. So, these are things to keep in mind when the candidates debate, when the elections come up. You should write to your congressman or your parliament and tell them what you expect. The refugees, are they going to go home? If their land is destroyed, who's going to rebuild it? These refugees did not destroy their own land. I think somebody is obligated to restore their nation, to restore their infrastructure. And I think you have to be steadfast with that and tell that to your government, or your government will lose its legitimacy itself, if it hasn't already. So I'm going to leave you with that. And as a final piece of trivia, I will leave you with a little fact about Apple. Apple Computer has a Syria link. One of the founders of Apple, Steve Jobs, was actually half Syrian. His father, his biological father, was Abdullah from Homs, Syria. And so Steve Jobs went on to create Apple Computer and probably designed some of the things or got them marketed well. So you can have that to look forward to, that, wow, this is actually Syrian technology from that family line. And it leads me to think about that the little audio assistant, Siri. Some people have speculated that it's a nickname for Sigrid, a Norse goddess. But I'm wondering if it's just alluding back to Steve Jobs' Syrian ancestry. Syria is from Syria. So I'll leave that with you for now. And so, until later, we'll be seeing you.